Hey friends, last time we left off, we were just selling the house and we were hitting the road full time, but right away we kind of ran into some trouble.
But before we dive into that, let's make some coffee.
So as many of you know, we normally flat tow the Jeep behind us, but during the move, we don't know what happened to the flat towing stuff. It might have gotten donated, it might have gotten thrown out, we're not sure. So we actually drove to Florida all the way without it. But that's when things kind of got weird.
So key detail there, we're driving separately during this story. When we do drive separately, the few times we do, we actually have walkie-talkies to communicate with each other. So we're driving along I-75 between Chattanooga, Tennessee and Atlanta, Georgia. And the bus kind of started bumping a little bit. And I just thought I was in a tractor-trailer groove in the highway or something. And I was like, alright, that's a little weird, but who knows? Like, there's always weird sounds and things going on in the bus.
So I'm behind him, and all of a sudden I start seeing things fly from underneath the bus.
Probably just rocks. Then the bus starts shaking. And if you've ever seen somebody on like a rigid tractor in a field riding and they're going like this, that was basically how I was riding on the seat in the bus, which immediately I probably turned even more pale than I currently am. But my brain was like, okay, analyze it, what's going on? And that's when she walkie-talkies in from behind.
And I was like, hey babe, the wheel is wobbling, the wheel is wobbling.
So I immediately pull over. Thankfully there was a good shoulder right where we had to stop. I jump out of the bus and I take a look, and so we have dualies on the back of our bus, and there's 8 lug nuts that hold them on. Well, we had 2 left.
Just 2.
2 of 8, which is terrifying. So we were 2 lug nuts away from our left side dualies flying off on the highway. Now it turns out the stuff she saw flying out of under the bus
What's our lug nuts?
was broken lug nuts and studs shooting out the side of the wheel. Made for a really unfortunate event, because then we were stuck on the side of the highway for 4 hours trying to work with insurance to get the right tow. Because the back wheel was the one that was messed up, they couldn't pick us up from the front, because then that wheel was going to fly off. With our back deck that we have welded on, they didn't think they'd be able to approach it from the back to tow it, so we needed a flatbed. Well, the tow company thought if we got put up on a regular size flatbed, we wouldn't make it under the overpass on the highway.
So at this point, they were just like, we don't know what to do. Call 911.
So
and we were like, wait, what?
Yeah. So I call 911 and I start talking with them, and they're like, do you want us to send an officer? And it was getting dark, so we were like, yeah, that would be great, because there's like 80 tractor trailers a minute. Got pulled to a shop. The guys at the shop were awesome. And we stayed the night in the shop, and they were able to get the parts in the morning and get us out by lunchtime. This was a really scary event, because if you're driving a 14,000 pound bus and the wheels fly off going 65 on the highway, the situation isn't gonna look pretty.
And everything you own in this home, too, as well. So it was definitely a little bit scary for both of us when it did happen. And this is the first time, like, we were on the road before, like we said, but this is the first time we ever had, like, a true breakdown.
Yeah, so looking back, as unfortunate as it was and as expensive as it was, we really tried to flip the perspective of this with all the excitement coming out of moving out of the house and into the bus. We try to look back at this in a positive light. Like, first off,
thankfully, we weren't towing the Jeep. Like, we normally 90% of the time tow the Jeep.
So shout out to our 82 Goodwill trips and the bag that we must have got mixed up. So thankfully she was behind us, because ultimately I would have pulled over very shortly thereafter, but my brain would have tried to analyze what was going on for probably another 30 seconds before I pulled over. And with 2 of 8 lug nuts left, they probably wouldn't have held on that long.
Could have lost the wheels.
So I'm very thankful for that, and I also just try to see this as like another growing opportunity, is like this, a very exciting situation turned very scary. Really just like helps us verify like why we're trying to do a different alternative kind of a lifestyle to get more experiences. Because like, not to like say it in an over dramatic way, but nothing's guaranteed. So we want to just like really experience the most that we can with the time that we have. And like I said, we're just gonna try to take this one scenario, this hiccup in our journey, and like view it in a positive way.
So we want to tell you guys basically about the scenario that happened to us, to know that when things happen on the road or even happen in normal day-to-day life, that you can always find the positive outcome in it. There's always that light at the end of the tunnel in situations that are tough, you know? So even though we did have a breakdown and it sucked and we spent a lot of money, but like we learned from it. So,
and also, there's another piece of this is take corrective action. What we ended up doing is ordering a torque wrench, a big torque wrench, that now every couple drives, I go and just check the torque of every lug nut. I inspect the lug nuts, make sure one's not cracked, and just kind of give a good eye over on everything just to make sure. So now that's one of my check steps, along with the oil, the tire pressure, all your normal things. Every once in a while, I'm gonna retorque our studs.
Check your lug nuts, friends. You never know. And after all that craziness, we started heading down to Florida to visit my brother and my family and just park up in his driveway for a month, enjoy some warm weather, some beautiful beaches, and just some time to relax and reset after all of that, while we waited for the Northwest to warm up. Good morning, love.
Morning.
What are you doing?
Keeping our door shut because we have too much glass in it for this trip.
Just till we get to Florida, it will be taped shut like this because there's too much booze in it from our house. Ugh. Thanks so much for watching our video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to follow all of our adventures.
Our next video is going to be a little more informative rather than vlog style. We're actually going to walk you through how we tow our Jeep with our shuttle bus conversion, and then talk through how you can figure out if you'll be able to do the same. Cheers!
Cheers!